Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeedly do. We are engaged once again here on Operation Status Quo. Status Quo. Doesn't it feel like so amazing and beautiful? Ayo, yeah. How you doing out there today? I hope you guys are feeling good. It's a Thursday today. You know, we were been talking this year that the Wednesday, Thursday thing. Either way, I'm here with you as always, right? I never let you guys down. I get back to you, right? You know, don't call me. I'll call you, all right? But I'll get back to you, please. Can we just slow down for a few minutes? We're already getting out of control. Hey-o. Yeah. So, what was I going to say here? Hello and welcome to Operation Status Quo. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Pete.Palma. I am your user-friendly host. Of course, I am broadcasting from the comfy confines of my very own home. What are you doing? Where are you? Are you in your own home while you're watching this? Maybe you're driving along, right? It's probably more interesting to watch this than the road, right? No one watches the road. Anyway, that's what, here we go on a tangent real quick. But just to say, down here in Florida, the lights sometimes, I mean, I'm sure it's everywhere, traffic, obviously, but some of these traffic lights are so long that by the time I've actually seen people miss the light because by the time the light turns green, they're so engrossed sitting on their phone that they never move. And then by the time they realize that the light is green, it's like, unless there's somebody behind them to beep them, right? Then they wind up sitting there for another cycle of the light. It's almost like saying, damn, this light's like 7 minutes. I can't believe it. No, it's not 7 minutes. You missed it 3 times because you're looking at your phone, for God's sake. Just pay attention to the road. Can you do that? Can anyone just not pay attention to their phone for like 30 seconds straight? Hey-o. In any given situation, even when I drive around here and I see people, they're driving and they just keep looking, and it's like why do you got to look at this every 2 seconds? You're driving, for God's sake. I don't know, you would think that people would want to concentrate on, driving so that they don't crash, maybe, right? Or maybe hit a kid on a bike. It's like, I don't get it. I'm sorry for that tangent. I said this is Operation Status Quo, right? But I never even got into it. This is the place where we observe the status quo of life, which we just did right there. We learned to flow with the status quo of life, which is something you have to do once in a while when you're around a bunch of people that are operating on the mainstream way. But the most important part, ladies and gentlemen, is that then you get to create your own flow of quo, yo. And that's what I love to do, and that's what I would love for you to do, because if you're not living your own flow of quo, you're living someone else's flow, and that is a GD. Hey-o. No, GD, no. I didn't mean to hit AO yet. Yeah. Hey-o. Mass mania. That's what's going on up in here. You know how difficult it is for me to try to express something in a calm nature. I am actually really calm. I just having fun, guys. Right? We're just having fun. That's what we do here on Operation Status Quo, because it is a place not only of observing life and stuff and learning to be our true, authentic selves, but also celebrating being our true, authentic selves and having fun with it. Right? I like to have fun with the quirkiness of my current physical manifestation, whatever. Okay. All right. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. Please allow me to try to be somewhat professional for you out there. I mean, my goodness gracious, we're on YouTube and we're talking about things that are happening in the world, and we're making a show, and it's got to be very serious, and we have to make sure that people understand that this is a serious stuff. So today is the 12th of March in the good year 2026, and today's program is entitled Save Yourself. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start crazy here. Save yourself. You have to. No, it's not funny. Right? It's scary. It's very scary out in the world. And if you don't save yourself, who's going to save you, for God's sake? Ladies and gentlemen, it's got to be you. It's got to be you. You got to save you. It's the thing to do. Yeah. All right. So, are those people still complaining? They'll go away. There they go. You see what happens if I'm a day late. See all the extra pent up energy that happens, and then I'm subjugated to my own inability to control my own madness, ladies and gentlemen. But no, today's program is entitled "Save Yourself," and this is not meant, of course, in any sort of selfish way. But unfortunately, the chaos of the current world pretty much leaves people in a situation where you have a choice, basically, to save yourself. You have to live for yourself and not for the system. If you continue to live for the system, I mean, it's pretty obvious what the system provides. We see what the system is doing in every facet and how it keeps people, constrained and in fear and worried about, all this type of nonsense that goes on, blah, 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 blah. But I talk about it here all the time, the importance of learning to go within and find your own space. Let me tell you something. This is what I just got, like what I really think. Like, the chaos, and I know I've kind of said this before in a way, but that's what Operation Status Quo is about. It's like it's the message unto itself. It shows itself in many ways. We can talk about it over and over again, but the truth is still the truth of what it is, in the sense of, like, I personally find what's going on in the world to be, a good thing, because it's giving the opportunity for people to empower themselves and to take personal choice, to take personal actions. Now, not everyone wants to do that, right? Some people get really upset about that, and they want things just to stay the way they are because they're comfortable in their little ways and all that type of stuff. And there's no judgment and there's no right or wrong. Everybody has the path of, their life is their life, and whatever happens is what happens, and everybody has the opportunity to choose one way or another. I think the problem is that people don't really understand that they have the power to choose one way or the other. So if you're conscious of it and aware of it, and say, yes, I want to stay in this system, like, I want to have, like, microchips planted in my brain one day, so I can walk into the grocery store and just scan my head when I buy groceries or whatever type of thing, right? They want just to be kind of cared for by the system, because to me personally, people who want to be cared for by the system in that regard really don't have the inner strength that they need to care for themselves. Because if you really believed in yourself and really cared for yourself, you wouldn't be looking for others to care for you. You would just be already doing it. You would just be already caring for yourself, right? And actually not only just caring for yourself, but caring for others in the sense of just being compassionate to your fellow man and being kind, and trying to make society work in a way that is cohesive for everyone. But that's not the way it works. That's the point of the system, and that's the point of duality in this life in general. But the thing is to, like, recognize it and have fun with it. Like, we don't have to get heavy scared about everything. The truth is, like, life is short, right? They say, well, I don't know how short it really is, because everything is timeless. There's no such thing as time. But what we perceive as this particular embodiment and life, that is, relatively speaking, is short, I guess, right? So, I mean, the bottom line is, like, the clock's ticking, even though there's no time. But, in this regard, the clock's ticking. And, what do you want to do? I would always say that to anybody. Like, well, what do you want to do with the time that you're here, and why aren't you doing it if you want to do it? We can always make excuses and label different obstacles and such that keep us from doing things that we really want to do and live the way we want to live. I'm just going to speak. This is an aside as well, but just to speak on, like, when I left my job, it's like, people thought I was crazy, because I had a good job that was whatever, right? Good pension, all this stuff and everything. And I think now this coming up in May will be 4 years that I left that, and I really wasn't sure how things were going to work. And this is not just about money. I'm just talking about, this is about life in general. And back when I was younger, I would have been totally fearful to not necessarily be employed the way I was at that time, and how would I survive? But I always realized when I was working that I only had, I always kind of felt I was a paycheck away from nothing anyway. like, cause it's just like, everything was predicated on getting that check all the time. And the whole life was sucked into the job to maintain enough to not get in trouble for me anyway, because, I don't flow with their quo too well, ladies and gentlemen. So unfortunately I flow with my quo, which turns out to be a problem a lot of times. So that's why I do everything independently now. It's like much, much better. But what I'm trying to say is, in general, and I'm just using my situation with the job as an example, but whatever it is in your life that you feel that's like, oh my gosh, I can't walk away from this, or I can't change that because it's going to, and the real truth is, and it goes back to just believing and believing in yourself and believing in higher powers and such that are operating in our life, that it's if you really have the true intent and the belief in what you're doing, then life will support it. Like if you're kind of doing what if you're not working against yourself, right? Like, when you're doing crap you don't like, and we all have to do crap we don't like in certain regard. But I'm just saying in a broad, more kind of sense of choosing a path for our lives. A lot of times people don't even reflect on what it is exactly they would want to do, or like you only know one way. Oh, you do, this is what you do, this is how you do it, right? And it's like this is life every day. You don't want to be an outcast in certain regards and stuff. So, but I don't know. I just think there's like so much power for people to have to do whatever they want to do. And I'm saying, just to kind of finish off, like I can't say I'm so surprised. Not so surprised. I'm not. I am. I'm not. I am and I'm not. Like I'm. It's real. I wouldn't say surprised. I would say it's really amazing how I was able to utilize resources I had, to maintain what I'm doing and still be able to, create all this nonsense that you guys watch from me all the time. But I mean, I really, as for whatever it is and for whatever people think of it or what, but at the same time, like it's what comes from me naturally, what I believe in. And it's like how I've dedicated my time, and I've dedicated my time to it in a, I take it seriously as far as like, the way being here to talk to people every week. I want to be consistent in that and, just share. I'm just sharing myself. I'm just one person sharing myself, because the whole point of Operation Status Quo and everything that I do personally through my creative endeavors is to show people that you really should embrace your authentic self and be whatever that is, no matter what, I mean, it doesn't have to be, entertainment field or something, right? I'm just saying, but be your authentic self and vibrate at your best self and let that be contagious to those around you, right? Because, the world, the way they show us things, they're never going to, they make it like they want to uplift you. They do, right? But instead they'll talk about, let's just say, like, there's a lot of depression in the world and mental issues, right? I'm just saying, and because the way our world is, it's so effed up that, people, they want to be free, but they don't even know they can be free, and they're caught in between, not even realizing, like I'm talking about, plus trying to continue to fit themselves in the paradigm that they've created. So of course it's going to create depression or some sort of mental instabilities and such, even like with war and stuff, you send people out there and things are blowing up, and they don't know if they're going to die. You might come back a little, uneasy, and you're getting shot at all the time. So, they don't really create the space for us to do that, but they'll act like they do, right? Because then they'll come on and do all these like public service things like, depression or, even suicide. I hate to use that word, and, in a way, because it's just like, but just say like it becomes this big issue, and they want to make all this support for people suffering. But the truth is, the system is the one that creates the place to put people in those kind of offset. It's like, first we're going to F with your brain, and then we're going to take you and we're going to try to fix your brain by trying to get your brain back to the place we wanted it to be, which is the thing that effed up your brain in the first place. Don't you understand? Round and round goes around, comes around, round and round, right? You just go back and forth. Hey-oh. It's like a pendulum. We're going to swing you this way. We're going to F you all up. And then we're going to swing you back this way and make you think you're okay. And then we'll swing you back over here and try again and see if you can deal with all the nonsense that we're putting out there. But, and again, like, this is why I'm saying people have to be responsible for themselves and what they, to what they are watching and taking in as far as media and everything else. Because, I mean, think about how funny it is in a way. I mean, especially social media. If you go on, some of the things like, I just start scrolling sometimes and I'll see like everything. If you ever notice, like everything is like this is going to happen within 24 hours. Or they'll even be putting stories like on there of like this big explosion just happened or this or that. Like, it's not even like substantiated. You never even hear about it. I'm just saying, like, the social media, everything is, this is happening today. This is on this date. This is going to happen. Be prepared. And it's always like this state of emergency that they're keeping you. Tomorrow's the day. And then like you're sitting there and you're like, you go through the day. Then tomorrow comes, you go through the day and you're like, okay, well, we're at the end of the day, and then you check back in. It's like, no, we're wrong. It's tomorrow. The next 24 hours. Now you're screwed. Now that's everything they keep talking about. Now I see of all the uprisings that are going to happen of the sleeper cells in America. It's next last 24 hours. Hold on to your hats.
Hey,
and they just like kind of just like blah, 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 blah. And they just like keep like slamming it into your face. But it's like, it's always the same day in a way. It's always like what I mean is in general, big things happen at times, right, that are kind of bigger events that affect a larger portion of population and shape some of our societal structure and whatnot. But in general, the changes that we see are really over a course of a longer time. You can go back to, I'm not going to even get into the depths of conspiracy or whatever, but I'm just saying, go back to 9/11. So, prior to 9/11, you think about how air travel was and stuff, but then 9/11 happened, and of course they were easily able to say now, this is to protect you, from terrorism, that we're basically going to put our fist up your hiney every time you want to get on a plane. It's like, okay, I'll do that for America. But that's like, so what I'm saying is like, but over the course of time, people get adjusted to, basically being treated like pieces of crap at the airport. I mean, that's why I haven't personally flown since 2019, not because I have any, I just don't want to be bothered with the nonsense. Like, it's easier to get on a bus if I really, that's why I like driving. Obviously I can't drive across the ocean, if I wanted to go one of those type of places. But anyway, I'm just trying to say, you think about how people get treated at the airport, but prior to 9/11, that wasn't even, kind of a thought that way. I mean, people used to smoke on airplanes, for God's sake, right, back in the day. So it's just it's not like, tomorrow, the big day or whatever, right? And do like everybody has their bunkers and it's just like too much, right? Everything is going to shape itself over time, just like the way water or wind shapes stones, right? Whether it's in a creek or a lake and the water's running or the wind is blowing on the mountain, over time, these structures are shaped by the consistency and the flow of the water or the wind, and that consistency and that flow creates what is the new physical way of it showing itself, whether it be a rock, or us as a society in general. So it's like these little kind of just, subtle changes, subtle things, we go blow up Iran. That's just a subtle thing. Take Venezuela, a subtle thing. All of it. I mean, I'm just not picking on those two things. They're just recent. I'm just saying in general, though, whatever, right? Just all these little subtle things. Like COVID was a bigger one, for example, right? They tried to scare everybody to death with a strain of the flu that's been around since like the 60s or whatever, right? They give it a name. Like I always say, give it a name, give it a media campaign, create the COVID doll, get the COVID cereal, get your COVID lunchbox. Comes with a mask. Can you imagine? They should have done that, like a COVID lunchbox. Get your COVID lunchbox. Everything's like hermetically sealed inside your lunchbox, right? The sandwich is like, it's like a vacuum sealed sandwich, and it has a mask that's got a little flap so you can put your straw in there and take a sip of your drink. I like that. Hey, I'm at now. I'm doing that part right there was for me. I just entertained myself right there. The COVID lunchbox. Oh, that's too funny. All right. So, but anyway, I'm just saying in general, with the save yourself, like, we see everything that's going on and we have to, basically make our choices and not let what's going on, because they're just going to keep doing it. Like, even with the war, if you want to label it war, they don't label it war, whatever the frig it is, going on over there. But what do they talk about the most? They talk about like the gas prices, which I think is really funny. Like, what I'm saying is, in a grand scope of things, there's this turmoil going on where we're blowing up things, and other people are blowing up other things in retaliation. People are dying, lives are being disrupted, things and resources are being destroyed. But they come on the news and go, "How will this affect the gas prices at home?" Is that really the focal point like of all this? Like, what I'm trying to say, the level of society, and they're worried like, oh, like people don't care, right? Whatever's going on, like they still go about their normal little day, and they'll be like, oh, this damn, situation. Now the gas prices are going up. I got to get to Starbucks, right? It's gonna cost me an extra whatever because I got to fill up my tank. They don't even care about the big picture, harm to the environment, just destroying places on Earth, like the Earth itself. Like none of that means anything. It's just like the gas price is going up. It's going to, mess with me having to get the Starbucks. Is that going to make my Starbucks go up? Can I still eat my crappy, scientifically engineered Burger King food? Can I still get to that? Right? Oh man, that's what always gets with me with the whole thing. Is just like it's just like the surface level and like how people are operating. And I'm not blaming. I'm not saying people are wrong or what anybody should or shouldn't do. I'm just trying to say I don't live that way personally. I don't want to be involved with it. I'm not interested. I'm not giving my time, my power, my energy into these type of things that are just blatantly nonsense at a higher level that they're going to create their own little story and play it out and try to affect everybody. I'm going to make the decisions I have to make to live the way I'm going to live. I'm going to do the best I can. However that turns out, I got a smile on my face. Nobody can take away smile on my face. All right. No matter what. So, that's up to all of us to kind of be that way. And, this is a little bit of an aside again. Let me just say this because I wanted to say this at the beginning, but I forgot. But it's kind of in regard to everything I'm talking about, the chaos of our society in general. And you have to save yourself, ladies and gentlemen. But the time change that happened this past weekend, I don't know about you guys, but this one usually doesn't bother me too much, but it really kind of messed me up. I think that's one of the reasons I, wound up doing the show today instead of yesterday. I just was like, it took me a couple days of feeling tired. I know it's only an hour or whatever, but it's just a weird thing to me. And the concept of even changing the clocks is weird to me in a sense of the fact that, listen, no matter what time you put on the clock, it's always going to be certain amount of daylight, certain amount of night, right? I'm just saying it's always going to be the same. So like, why are we adjusting clocks to make it this, that, and the other? Just let it be what it is. Sometimes it's going to be a little earlier or a little bit later, that the sun comes. Just pick a time that's in general, we want the sun to come up around 7 in the morning. So, I'm just saying, right? I don't know. So just pick a time and just leave it be. It's like it'd be like me saying, I really love doing things at 3 in the morning. I want 3 in the morning to be my prime time. So I'm going to go back and, change the clocks so that when it's 3 in the morning, for me, it's actually 12 noon. So now I'm in the, the gist of things. It's only 12 noon, even though the clock says even though it's 3 in the morning, my clock says it's 12 noon. So I want to have a nice dinner. I could be inviting people over. It's like, midnight. It's like midnight. No, it's not midnight. It's only, it's like 2:00 in the afternoon. Like let's get this out of the way early. It's like, just think about the concept of like even, and that just got, it's just another thing to add into everything I'm talking about here with the way our world is in a sense and why you have to really make the choices for yourself. So as we always say here on Operation Status Quo, and I think I missed saying this in the very beginning, what are you doing out there in your day to create your own flow of quo? I'd be happy for you to let me know in the comments below because really it's the only thing we have, ladies and gentlemen. I'll kind of leave it at this here for today, but I'm just saying like, it's the only thing we really have is to make our choices and live. We can easily just keep sucking in, what they're feeding us and worrying and not making decisions and not taking certain actions because, you're always, I want to wait to see how this turns out or just give it a little more time to see what happens over here and all that. And like I told you, like with social media and all, they say, next 24 hours, all that type of stuff. They're always going to keep you on the hook. It's like watching a soap opera, it never ends, right? Every episode leaves you with another little cliffhanger and ultimately the story never ends. And that's the story of humanity and the powers that be who have the ability and I guess authority in a sense to do the things that they do and keep society in the way that they do. Right? So they're always going to keep you with that little cliffhanger. Always, what's going to happen is, even if what's going on in the, Iran right now, it stopped like right this second. At the end of the day, you don't really, what's that even mean? Like there'd be a bunch of cleanup stuff. There'd be aftermath. Somebody would act up and it would start again. Not for anything. This kind of situation's been going on over in that region. How many years? Hundreds of years, thousands of years, whatever, right? And all of a sudden we're going to swoop in there and do boop, 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 and it's all taken care of. It's just like, just like the first time, right? With 9/11, and then you wound up in there in Afghanistan for how many years, right? Just went on and on and on and on, and it still goes on and on. They come out and then they're back in. It's just like, right? So why are we giving our attention, our time, our energy into whatever. It's almost like, a bunch of spoiled kids that, just fighting over, their daddy's rich toys. It's just like, and they're all just like, let them all fight with each other and do whatever. And, and we as a people, we don't have to take part in it, and I always talk about, and I always say, to me, it's fairly simple. The less energy and input we give into the design that they try to create, the less it will flourish, the less it will exist. And the more, that's why it's a great time of what's happening right now in the world. And again, from what I said in the beginning, the chaos is a good thing. It's a good thing because it's an opportunity, and it's up to each of us to choose what we do with that opportunity. And remember, whatever you do choose to do, if you're doing it from your heart, whatever it is, and it's not about monetary gain, social status gain. It's not about being better than anybody or anything. But when you live like that from your heart, and you find that you're doing what comes natural, and you're flowing with your quo, right? With your quo, no one can take it away from you. Like if everything I was doing right now just stopped, in a sense, no one could take away from all these live streams I've done. No one could take away from the album I put out. No one could take away from all the bits and stuff I do that you guys hopefully are enjoying out there. I love all that stuff. The new world, what I'm saying is I did it, and it's there. And what I'm saying? Like, let that be the fulfillment. That's the fulfillment of living your purpose, or aligning with your soul mission, or however you want to term it. It doesn't have to be super heavy or anything. I'm just saying, but life again is short, and what are you doing with your time? What do you want to do with your time? Don't just be there thinking, I don't know who I am, or I don't know what, because all this chaos is happening all around, when at the end of it, you have the choice to, focus in on whatever you want to focus in on, and be part of whatever you want to be part of, and create whatever you want to create. It's just all about being kind and courteous and respectful to each other. Do unto others is a very simple rule, right? Just do unto others, and that's it. Live well, be well, put out positive, be kind, show love to people. Don't, nothing's going to be, not everything's going to be perfect. You have your moments, and we have people we have difficulties with and such, but at the end of it, just respect that they're in their space, you're in your space, and just be what you want to see in the world, and put out that level of positivity. Let that be contagious, and that the energy that others focus on, as opposed to focusing on the TV and all the nonsense and everything else that they tell us, right? All right, yeah, that's what I got for you here today. Oh my God, did I just spit all over my mic? Right here on Operation Status Quo. Hey, by the way, I don't really ever talk about my subscribers and stuff, but I woke up today, and when I went on and checked my YouTube, I hit up to 600. When I started doing Operation Status Quo, because I had this channel, like I told you, for a while, but when I started doing Operation Status Quo, I had about 470. I'm going to say 475. It was somewhere around there. So I had 475 when I started doing Operation Status Quo, which was March. Matter of fact, it was March 9th or 11th. I forgot. I got to go back and look. Or was it March 19th? I got to go back and look. But it was right around this time, March of 2023, that we started with Operation Status Quo. So it's taken me 3 years to get from 475 to 600. So 175 in 3 years. So that's not too bad. But also I don't promote it the way, I don't try to do, I don't try to buy ads or time, or buy subs, or do all that crap that people do. As far as I just do the shows, and whoever wants to watch, and whoever wants to can like, and all that type of stuff. And but anyway, I hit 600, so I hope it stays there. And if you're out there watching and you haven't subscribed, then please click that subscribe, and let's keep the channel growing. I'm happy. I appreciate each and every 600 of you out there. A couple of them are me, so I appreciate myself too. Yeah, and by the way, while I'm mentioning things, I actually be back in studio tomorrow recording a new song. I'm hoping to have a new song released within, I don't know, maybe within a couple months. Hopefully I'll be able to get the song released, and the website should be ready to go. Hopefully, like I was saying last week, I think I mentioned early April. So it's only a few weeks away. So new website, new music, and always new content from me right here, obviously on the live stream, and of course all the other nonsense I do if you're following on the socials. socials. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So as always, I thank you for your time. If you haven't done so already, please take the time to like, subscribe, share. Send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. As you very well know, I love each and every one of you out there, individually as well as a group. God bless you, and until next time, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.